Hey guys, welcome back to another Dragonheir Silent Gods video. Today we are going to be talking all about the temporal vortex and more specifically how to get into stage 4 when it unlocks in the next couple of days. So to be able to do this you do need to be able to clear the maximum level of stage 3, so 15 million damage is what your team will need to be doing to unlock the next stage. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to showcase the team I'm using now to clear this, and I do over double it currently. Obviously the heroes I'm using are not necessarily accessible for everybody, but it's more about the skill timings I'm using and the gear sets I'm using on my heroes. Once again, obviously I do have access to legendary gear, which many people won't for now, but as we progress through the game, you will be able to start picking up more and more of that legendary gear. I am only using one legendary artifact in my team. Unfortunately, I've only had one duplicate, so I don't have access to the legendaries like the staff that gives you shields on overhealing. It would be a massive increase to my team if I was able to pick that up. But yeah, so when I initially planned on recording an update on my Vortex team, I was using Bledin, the epic Ice Blast hero, to enable my Beldel. However, last night, just after the new year started, I decided I'd go for the banner to get myself, give myself a chance of getting Shinnah. However, 5 dice in, I was very fortunate to pull Shinnah very early. So yeah, my team has changed drastically today, so I'd like to do a little bit of an update video and show how to build an Ice Blast team for the Vortex. So if we jump on here, as you can see, I have already done it today and I managed to get 48.56 million, which was 20 million more than I had on my previous attempt yesterday. So if we jump in and have a look at who I'm actually using and how I've got them built, and then we'll look at the skill timings as well. So first of all, I've got Garius in my team. So Garius is my tank. As you can see, he is built in the Cyril helmet, the Cyril set. So that basically gives your whole team a 15% increase attack for 10 seconds whenever they inflict a debuff. And I know Garius doesn't inflict debuffs, but the way this set's actually working at the moment is no matter who's placing the debuff, as long as one of your heroes is wearing this set, you will get the benefits of it. So I've got my Garius built with the most health in my team, so he's taking the Call of Lightning hit. So as you can see, he's wearing a good amount of defense percent and HP percent. He's wearing a defense percent chest and HP percent gloves while using 2 HP runes, both negative and positive. And in terms of artifacts, I'm using the Scarab Amulet on him for that increased defense and also that shield just to tank one of the hits towards the end. My next hero I'm going to show you is my healer, and that is Jillian. So Jillian is built in the Ancestral Protection set to reduce the damage that the rest of my team are taking, but more specifically to keep my Garius alive just a little bit longer. So she is built with a good amount of Enlightenment and other than that just defensive stats. So she's wearing an Enlightenment chest, defense percent gloves, and a good amount of defensive stats on the rest of the gear. As for her runes, she's got an Enlightenment positive rune and a HP negative rune, and I'm using the Mirror of the Living artifact to increase her healing. Next up, we've got Vinyara. So Vinyara is my attack penalty hero in my team. So on her ultimate skill here, she places attack penalty with a 100% chance. So I've got her in just kind of mixed sets for mostly for the accuracy. She is using the Crown of the Unclean artifact, which I'll talk you through in a minute because I am using both this and Witch's Remains to get almost 100% uptime on defense penalty if I'm lucky with the landing. As for her runes, she's got a defense positive rune and a HP negative rune. As for my damage dealers, first of all, the kind of core of this team, which can be replaced by Girthin, the epic. We've got Beldel, the exclusive Ice Blast legendary. I don't have her exclusive artifact though, otherwise she would be doing significantly more damage. So I've got her in the Inventor set, which increases the damage dealt by 8% for every skill you use, so battle skill or ultimate skill. That stacks up to 4 times. With an Ice Blast hero, you are getting full uptime of this nearly all the time. So I've got her built with crit rate. As you can see, I've got 85% and some crit damage and a good amount of attack. Unfortunately, I haven't had enough good rolls to get maximum crit rates, but we'll work on that. And she's using the Manticore Statue artifact to increase her battle skill damage by 20%. As for her runes, she's in a crit damage positive rune and a defense negative rune, just because it's the best rune I had with the most offensive stats. And lastly, the new piece to my Vortex team is Shinnah. So Shinnah is built with a good amount of crit rate, some crit damage, and some attack, as well as accuracy to place Witch's Remains. So she hits multiple times on her ultimate skill, so a good amount of chances to place the defense penalty. She's using an attack positive rune and an attack negative rune, attack percent chest, crit rate gloves, and some damage stats on the rest of her gear. So as for the skill timings, oh sorry, just to mention as well, I am using a crit damage aura in all battles from my Beldao. So for the skill timings, I've got my Vinyara using her attack penalty just before this skill here, which then covers the ultimate skill of the boss as well. I've got my Jillian using her heal and her defense up on the 19.5 seconds, which lands just before this. This is actually set up for stage 4 because I will need to cleanse the defense penalty the boss puts out. So the timing of that is kind of set up in preparation for that. My Garius is using his at 27.1 seconds, and that allows it to go in between the 2 hits of this skill here, just to top up my team ready before the Call of Lightning to make sure he's nice and healthy. And my damage dealers are staggered, so I've got my Beldao going almost instantly when she's available, and then every 20 seconds thereafter. My Shinnah is actually waiting till 24.6 to use her first skill, and the reason for this is it allows the defense penalty from her ultimate and Vinyara's ultimate to be staggered. They're 10 seconds apart, and this just means that if I'm lucky and get chances to land the debuff on both her and Vinyara, then I can alternate 100% uptime on both defense penalty 1 and defense penalty 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump into the run, I'm going to let that run through, and we'll talk about how that goes. We'll just talk through the first rotation though, as you can see. So the first skill that's going to be used is my Beldao will use her ultimate skill, I believe. Yeah, there we go. Followed by my Vinyara using her attack penalty just before this skill hits. As you can see, defense penalty 1 has landed. Then my Jillian will use her heal and defense up just before the boss's ultimate skill. Then my Shinnah will use hers, placing her defense penalty. Garius will use that heal just between the 2 hits there. And then the Call of Lightning will come in. And that will rotate through the whole fight with everybody on a 20-second delay. It means they will not fall out of sync. They will use these skills at the perfect timing every single time. And yeah, as I say, we'll jump back in at the end of the run and we'll see how it gets on. And there we go, as you can see the run is coming to an end now, and it managed to do 47 million damage, so slightly less than I actually managed earlier today. And obviously in terms of damage, Beldao is the huge carry in this team, but like I said, Girth in the Epic can do a very similar amount of damage, maybe not quite this much. I personally saw very similar amounts when I was using Bledin, but since getting Shinnah, she seems to have gone to a new level. It's added around 20 million damage to my team. Obviously, she's doing 9.9 million of that, but the amount of ice crystals it gives my Beldao is actually ridiculous. She's almost constantly using her battle skill, potentially actually is only using her battle skill and ultimate skill. So yeah, it's not the most accessible team, but the actual principles of it, having somebody who can tank multiple forms of healing, attack penalty, and the timings is kind of key to being able to establish a team that can push you from Vortex 3 all the way up to Vortex 4. I'm not sure how how my team personally will do against Vortex 4. I'll have to find out in a few days. But yeah, that is all for this video. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.